Happy Friday. We are 1 week away from Black Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Craziness.
I am working on a budget right now and it's going to be really hard. It's already really hard. So what I told myself is that this month, which is kind of hard too, like November's not a great month to like look at your budget because you're going into Christmas and like you have the holidays coming up. But I really just want to like evaluate what are we, netting at the end of the month or losing at the end of the month, and where are we spending our money? And like, I don't want to put myself in a budget before I know like how we're spending our money. And so we're taking the next month because we talked about this a couple weeks ago on our podcast. Daycare is insane. And Nick and I were totally talking together. I was like, both of us make decent money. How are we in this situation?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when we finish daycare, we're going to get like a $2,500 raise. Well, we're going to be so rich.
It's because you outspend yourself. So this is something that Art and I are also doing, because obviously with the sale of the gym, we're going through a time where like we need to budget. We need to live with our means. We are wanting to move to Nashville as soon as possible. I didn't tell you that was the message I got earlier. They want to come take pictures of our house for the spring.
Oh my gosh.
They have to do it now so that it's not crazy in the winter. So, we're trying to get, I'm very step by step. I'm a planner. Becca knows this. I'm like, I need A, B, C, D. When is this happening? What date? Anywho, so we're budgeting too. Here's the best thing that I've heard, and I believe this comes from Danny Johnson. So you print off, this is scary though, guys. You print off your bank account and you go through with a red, yellow, and a green highlighter. And you basically put everything that are true expenses, such as daycare.
Yep,
in
we
green.
already did that.
You did that.
We did that. So I have like, these are true expenses. This is what we have to spend every month for like, our utilities, all that stuff. And then we have like gas and those types of other expenses. I consider them groceries, gas, stuff like that. And then we have like what I'm tracking right now, which is food, eating out. Like Nick wanted to remove our shower. We have one of those awful like shower doors in the kids' bathroom, and I wanted it gone and have so that we can, because like it slides and you can only access half the shower. Okay. And so when we have a bath with the kids, it's hard to do both of them. And so we removed that. That was $160 at Menards. Like it's just like those things. And so I'm tracking Starbucks. Those, right? I am tracking my Starbucks. I'm very upset about it, but I'm tracking it. And so I want to see what that is. Yeah. And I have basically our disposable income after our expenses, like our necessary expenses. And I want to see where we can, and so what I've been told by a couple people is the envelope system. Yeah. So you basically have an envelope for, food eaten out. You have an envelope for groceries. You have an envelope for, clothes that you buy every month. And when that envelope's empty, you can't spend there anymore. Right.
So that's $6 every day at Starbucks, because I've gotten Marcus addicted to the scones, So it's like $6 now. And I even try to change my order, so that's less. But I was thinking about it this morning when I was walking out. I'm like, I can't reload my cart again. Like we're done for the month.
That's what I need to start doing with Starbucks.
Because if you had usually that wallet, do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. $5
I know. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is like, that's when I take the kids to daycare and I grab Starbucks on the way back. Yeah. And I think I need to just keep it to those 3 days, because that for me is like maybe $50 a month. And for me, that's happiness to me that I can manage. But yeah. So anyways, we're budgeting right now.
We're ranting on our budgets.
And Black Friday is going to make me very sad because I shouldn't buy stuff on it, but I want to.
But I think this is a very valid point, because, we've gotten a lot of messages from other people that like, we love hearing you guys just like banter, talk about your kids and stuff. And like, know that our lives are not perfect, because there's all these different struggles when you look at all the things that need to be getting done. As you just heard in our last podcast on Wednesday, if you listen to it, like our technology pieces and this moving part and this, things, little things fall through the crack. The same thing happens, with your budget. But, what we have been like very conscious about, and, especially with the business too, is at the end of the month, like, are we on the right path and in terms of like our trajectory? Because I think even from a financial place, business wise or home wise, you're going to have some highs and lows, especially in entrepreneurship. Sure. And so it's kind of like, again, taking that big picture. Am I doing the things that are going to continue to drive growth for the business? Because there's times that we may have to, invest or scale back or whatever. Yep. And so, just for all of you guys out there, understand we have people in our corner. Like we have accountants, we have advisors, we have people that we talk to about these things who say, I'm not an expert in finance. I'll be honest. Like I know how to balance a checkbook, but when it comes to the other things you also want to be saving for, especially with kids, life insurance policies, school, college, all these things. Like there's so many more things that go into it. And so, you know, I would just say to everybody out there, be thinking about these things. Like you want to make sure you have a plan in place and know that you're not alone if you're overspending your budget and you got a little credit card, because I'm paying my credit card and my goal is by the end of 2021 to have it gone.
There you go.
So we'll see.
It's exhausting. And like, we aren't like rolling in money, but now that we just took on an extra, like Taylor in daycare 3 days a week is $1,300. And so that's a very large expense to take on that was not there prior. And so like, it's not like I just want to make sure we're not bleeding money right now. Like that's what I am at.
So my mind is I'm just laughing in my mind, because you guys have heard me talk about the podcast that, you know, Art and I want to have another one. Marcus needs a brother or sister, you know, but every time it comes to this, like I get so overwhelmed. Like I get overwhelmed thinking about like the health insurance, the pregnancy bills and all this stuff, especially since Marcus was in the NICU. And then I get overwhelmed the whole pregnancy process. And then the expenses of this little amazing human being that it will be.
Here's the thing. I consider them two in daycare versus my salary. My salary is still more. Yeah. Not salary, how much we make on a month-to-month basis. So for me, that's justified. Like or else I would take them out of daycare and I wouldn't work. But like right now we're okay. So we're going to make it work.
Well, you can't quit on me. So
no, and I'm not leaving. Okay. Anyways, what we are talking about today, budgeting is hard. So is health. Health is hard, guys. Like at the end of the day, in today's world, it is very hard. It is near impossible. But the thing is, it's the transition that is hard, because once you get on the other end and you get to a place where you are prideful and you are proud and you are excited and you feel amazing, health becomes easier. But getting there is what we need to know, is like the grit. I talked about it. I think I talked about it on another podcast. I've talked about it to a couple of clients recently. In the book Relentless, they talk about how every day you're going to encounter moments where you need to grit through them. Like, you're going to meet the meeting that you have at work that has the donuts. You're going to have the husband that wants to order pizza every weekend. You're going to have the kids that want to go through the drive-thru and get Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever it is. Like, you have all of these moments. Every day has, I think it was like 87,000 or 87 million seconds in a day. That is 87,000 chances to make a good decision for your health or a poor decision for your health. That's a lot of freaking chances. And so we need to understand that today's world sets us up for this being very hard. Food is hyper palatable. Food companies make it addicting by what they put in it. Pretty much all food has like sugar in it now. Like even your, microwave dinner has sugar in it somehow. Your mashed potatoes and your pork loin that shouldn't have sugar in them. And so food companies make this very hard. Peer pressure and people make this very hard for whatever reason, which is like more and more now that I think about it, makes me so angry. Being healthy makes you an outcast in today's 100%. World.
Like 100%.
I posted the other day about drinking, about how I made it through the weekend without drinking, which has been kind of a goal of mine, because postpartum mamas, like after a day, you just feel like you need a glass of wine. I got into the habit where like every weekend I was having 1 or 2 on Friday, Saturday, not much, but I don't do well with alcohol. And every time I drink it, I regret it. And so I made it through the weekend. I got like 10 or 15 responses on Instagram of other women that were like, I stopped drinking too. I feel so much better. I realized after kids, I couldn't drink. Like, I got so many positive responses. And the funny thing is, in social settings though, you're the weirdo if you don't drink. Like, you're the weirdo if you're trying to take care of your body and feel better, which is so effing frustrating in my mind. It makes it so hard for people to change their life for the better.
Yeah. Or you're getting comments from people like, just have a piece of this, or just have more of this, or they'll just like refill your drink for you, even though you didn't ask for your drink to be refilled, And like, I even messaged Becca when we were on a vacation, just some of the comments that I got there. And like, some of them you appreciate and some of them are just awkward. Like, and maybe it's just because they don't know how to give compliments. But I just think about like when we talk about health being hard, I think we're hit so many different ways. And so we talked about the food, industry and how they make these foods hyper palatable and addicting, and they're very convenient, right? You can hit McDonald's drive-through. Now we're facing, and I was talking with my sister-in-law about this because she's very high up in Kroger, and we're facing this tremendous increase in price for health foods, for meats, for example, red meat. And I talked about this with one of our clients earlier today. She's like, what other meats could we look at that are organic and, healthy that aren't unfortunately red meat anymore? Because red meat is up 26.2% currently when this podcast airs, right?
I might be a conspiracy theorist. I think they are trying to make this world sick.
Well, yeah, because McDonald's hasn't gone up in price.
They're trying to make this country
maybe it has. I don't
sick
so I don't know.
and dependent.
Yeah.
Is what, by raising, yes, it's a supply chain issue for sure. I understand that. But I swear, call me a conspiracy theorist. I think they are trying to make this world sick and dependent on drugs and on all of the things, because there's no money in health.
There is no money in health. Exactly. And so we can have a totally, different conversation about that. But you're hit so many different directions of, you have all these temptations, you have these convenience things, then you have all the social media, the advertising, the, I'm thinking about the Super Bowl commercials, right? How many people out there have seen I just remember, I think it's the Pizza Hut commercial where they've got that new braided, cheesy crust, pizza. You're just sitting there on your couch and you're I'm salivating. Let's order this. That sounds delicious, right? Nobody's out there preaching the benefits of one ingredient whole foods and how that can help us prevent disease and turn around the disease rates that we have and obesity rates that we have in the United States, because again, there's no money there. And so we get it that it is hard, but I will tell you that I think there is a point in time when you decide that you are worth it and the way you feel is worth it, that you don't give a shit anymore. And that's how I was this past week on vacation. And the other podcast, I had 4 pieces of this lau cake my sister made, but guess what I didn't have? The fried chicken and the birthday cake that was from Publix, because I'm like, that's not really worth it. My sister-in-law is awesome. She's like, hey, what do you want from Publix? I know you're probably not doing fried chicken. I was like, I'm happy with a salad. And so she just got me a salad. I put some turkey on it and some chicken on it, and I had fun. Or, I enjoyed it. But I just think here, it's you have got to decide what hard you're going to choose, because you either choose the fact that health is hard, and sometimes saying no to the fried chicken or the pizza or whatever it is that's tempting you, and choosing that chicken salad. That's hard. It's hard in the moment.
In the moment is the key there. In the moment, it is hard. But from my experience, and I know from Liz's experience, what's really, really way harder? Waking up every day hating how I feel. Going to bed every night hating being bloated and feeling disgusting and feeling like none of my clothes fit. That hard for me is so much worse than the hard in the moment to choose a different option. And that is what I think. And we talk with our clients a lot about this. That is why the transition phase is hard. You don't feel that amazing yet. You need to grit through the moments to get to that amazing feeling, guys. No, not everyone gets that. That's not fair. The people that work for it get it. And so that is what I find drives me, and I think drives a lot of people, is the feeling. Once you get to that place where I know tomorrow when I wake up after choosing this grilled chicken salad with this delicious, I'd had on Friday night, Nick wanted pizza. I was totally fine. I'm going to get a grilled chicken salad. And it had a shaved Parmesan on it. And it had a really good house balsamic vinaigrette and, some fruit on it. It was so good. I added some extra chicken because it wasn't very high in chicken. And it was really good. I didn't want the pizza. And I knew waking up the next day, I was like, I'm going to be so happy tomorrow when I wake up and I don't feel disgusting. Because I ate something that I know is inflammatory to my body, that I know my body doesn't tolerate very well and makes my gut hurt. And so having these moments, instead of looking at it as a restriction, look at it as I'm prideful, I'm proud, I'm excited. Not this miserable, I'm restricting myself, not looking at health as a mean to an end. So many people look at eating healthy and eating nutritious foods and exercising as this dreaded process that we have to go through to get to weight that we want to be at. You guys, newsflash, weight doesn't equal health. Health equals health. General health, sleeping well through the night, feeling energetic throughout the day, having good digestive system function, and having bowel movements daily. Those things are health. Feeling good, feeling good in workouts, weight training, resistance training, have a body that's capable. Those things are health. I'll be on the BMI scale, I'm not healthy. I'm obese according to the BMI scale because I'm muscular and because I hold weight there. People so undervalue what health is, and they think about just these negatives that come with it. I have to restrict myself of alcohol. You guys, yeah, alcohol is great. It's fun to drink, but really, what is the benefit of it? There's really not a huge benefit of alcohol other than enjoying a couple drinks here and there. To me, and maybe this is just as I age type thing, I have no desire to get blasted anymore. Like, sure, I love margaritas. I love wine. I love these things. But recovery is not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
And like, I have no desire to be over gluttonous and consume massive amounts of food and feel like a piece of shit the next day. Like, it's just, we have to think about beyond in that moment and understand that the world makes it hard to be healthy. And that's, I'm sorry, like, tough love, guys. Tough shit. We got to eat better. We got to treat our bodies better. And we got to stop looking at this health process as this like negative, restrictive, I have to work so hard at it. Like, I'm sorry, being healthy is hard. What's the alternative?
Yeah. Well, here's the alternative is like the hard day is going to come when you're sitting across from your doctor and they're telling you you have type 2 diabetes, you have high cholesterol, you have, diseases that are preventable essentially. Right. And so here's a medication and here's a prescription. And for some people out there, they want the easy way out. They want to take the statin. They want to take, whatever medication is being prescribed for the disease. But at the end of the day, that's still hard because we know that we're losing years on our life. We know that essentially we're losing time with our family, with our friends, right? And that our choices that we make today are going to play into that diagnosis years from now. And so kind of going back to what you were mentioning about like, I have to, I think there's a lot of people out there who think like being healthy is a chore. And what I'm going to say to you is like, think about all those people. And I've talked about this before on the podcast. Think about all those people who don't have the opportunity to do this, whether they're living in a third world country and they don't have access to the types of foods that we have access to here in the US, whether they have a disability and they, cannot go out and go for a walk and get 10,000 steps a day, whether they have a debilitating disease that they can't even get out of bed and take themselves to the bathroom. Like, listen, there's going to come a day where the way that we are trending here in the US, at least with our food, with the unhealthy pandemic that we have going on right now with obesity, chronic disease, the food industry, and all of this shit that is in our food, like there's going to come a day that's going to be a very real reality for a lot of people, unless we wake up and we start to take these things back and say, you know what? I get to do this. I choose to do this because I want to feel good. I want to be healthy. So I get to instead of I have to. And I think this is, again, where people that go through the week and they muster through their workouts and they muster through like, I got my 10,000 steps today. Tomorrow I got to do it again. That's a bad attitude to have.
Yeah.
If you have that attitude and you're resentful to the abilities and the capabilities that you have for the choices you are able to make, this will never last. And so if you want to be a healthy person, you have to change that thought process. You have to start coming from it from a place of, I am thankful I get to do these things. I choose to do these things. I'm thankful for the abilities that my body has to carry me throughout life, to see friends, to take care of my kids, to travel, to show up for myself every single day. And so that's, again, another hard truth. And, we talk a lot about like health is hard. Listen, disease is hard, and there's a cost to everything that we do. And so we pay for it now or we pay for it later. And I think one of the biggest things, and I talked about this in our private group this past week, is like, think about your anti-vision. Okay. The anti-vision is the philosophy here of like, you have a vision for yourself and you have these goals. Think about that in the reverse and the absolute worst thing that could happen. Write that out and then do everything that you can to prevent that. And evaluate what is the cost of me not changing. Where will I be 3 to 5 years from now if I don't wake up, if I don't get up and start changing things that I need to change? Because there's a cost either way that you choose to go.
Yeah. Ed Milet talked about this on one of his podcasts. He talked about how he was not living a super healthy lifestyle. He was like eating out a little bit more frequently, not exercising super frequently. And his family had someone die at the age of 50 from a heart attack. And he's like, I looked at him and he was a similar body type as me. He was in my, I knew that it was something that we struggled with in our family, and I went to the doctor and I had some tests ran, and I went into the doctor, and the doctor, before telling me the results, asked like if I had kids, asked if I lived in, a nice house, and he spoke with me. Do you want to be there for your daughter's wedding day? Do you want to be there when your son graduates college? Do you want to be the one that's sitting at your table with your family eating dinner? Or do you want it to be another man because you've been long gone because of the way that you're leading your life? And he's like, when you start to realize the things that can get taken away, and you guys, I know that's an extreme view, but like, do you want to be happy? Do you want to have a good mood every day? Because I promise you, your health impacts that 100%. The reason we have such an issue in this world right now with depression, with anxiety, with mental disorders, with all of these things going on, I guarantee you, a major part of that is people's health and what they put in their bodies, how much they're exercising, how much they're doing on a day-to-day basis. It's not their mental talk. It's not like, you guys, what we give our bodies helps us be in a positive mindset, helps us be in a place where our body's creating what it needs to have a positive mood and a positive outlook on life. So I promise you, if you're in a place where you're just not happy with life, change your health, change what you're putting in your body, change how you're treating your body, and watch that shift in a positive manner, because it matters so much how we approach health, not just with the mindset, but truly with what we're putting in our body and how we're treating our body. So we get that health can be hard. We get that this process is not an easy one, especially if you're coming from a far away place in terms of you've been down a black hole of like not treating your body very well. Yeah, it's going to be hard for a while. You're going to have to grit through a lot of moments, but I promise you on the other end of it is something so worth it and something so valuable long term. It doesn't matter how hard it is. I will continue to do it every single day. And like how I look at it, I'm fucking proud of myself. Yeah. Like I love ending the day being like, I did that.
And it's not about weight. Right? Mm-mm. It's not even about calories. Like kind of what you're going back to say is like what you're putting into your body. When we talk about this, it's not about calories. It's legitimately about how are you nourishing your bodies. You're choosing foods that your body can utilize as energy, that your hormones are made up of, your neurotransmitters are made up of. Every single thing that you put into your body impacts your overall health.
Yep.
And this is where you've got to start reading labels. One of the things that we're doing this week in our Slay the Holidays challenge is we're going through the kitchen and we're teaching them and we're educating them about all the shit that's hidden in your food that you may not even realize, because the food industry has also tricked you and deceived you and basically lied to you through their labeling and advertising that these things are air quote healthy when they are not healthy at all. They have the same amount of preservatives and shit, and then the other things do. Maybe the calories are just a little bit different, you know? And so it's not even about the calories. It's how you show up for yourself, what you're putting in your body, how you talk to yourself, how you think about these things, and ultimately what decision you want to make every single day, day in and day out, to choose health and choose that hard or choose the other hard.